All right, so Tasha, today at 30 teams in 30 days, we're talking about the San Antonio Spurs. Yes, their 20-year playoff streak was snapped this season. They did not make the playoffs. What's going on with San Antonio? Is the dynasty over? Like, Pop is at the end of his, coming towards the end of his coaching career. He's pretty old up there in age, and they not trending in the right direction. What can the Spurs do? Are they going into a rebuild?
I'm kind of disappointed. San Antonio didn't make the playoffs. I thought they would make a little bit more noise. I mean, you got Aldridge. I honestly thought that John Timmer. I thought he was gonna have a better season than he did last season, but he is coming off of that ACL, so I kind of give him some slack for that. I think he's going to take it to another level this season. I think John Timmer is going to be a really really good player in the NBA, really good player. And you got Aldridge. I think you got DeRozan, you got Aldridge, you got Rudy Gay. I think that team should be able to make the playoffs if you're getting coached by Greg Popovich. For some reason, they just didn't. They just weren't able to close out games. And honestly, some games they just even weren't. They just didn't look like they were on other teams' level. They were competing, but you could just see other teams just head and shoulders above them. And we're not accustomed to seeing that from San Antonio. So it kind of begs the question: where did they go for it? Do they rebuild? Like, I don't know. I mean, like, I like Keldon Johnson. He was rookie last year. I think they should give him a minute. He has great defensive potential. I mean, this guy 6'6", long arms, extremely long arms. He has great. I mean, all defense potential. So I like him. And then Lonnie Walker, I was expecting a big jump for Lonnie Walker this season, but obviously he got injured before, at the beginning of the season, and that just kind of hurt them because they were saying this guy had, I forget who were they comparing Lonnie Walker to, but they really had high hopes for Lonnie Walker, and then he got injured. But I mean, it's San Antonio, man. Like, I just think they're in this state. Like, I don't want to say like how the Lakers were when Kobe left, but San Antonio is just in a state kind of where like New England is, where the Patriots are post Tom Brady. That's where San Antonio is. They're still competing, but it's obvious that the talent level isn't there. And it's obvious that they're just not talented. Like, you still got this amazing coach, but you're just not that talented. I mean, this year I would have San Antonio making the playoffs this year. San Antonio, I cannot count them out. I mean, these guys made the playoffs for 20 years straight. Yes, they missed last season, but they still barely missed it. I think they're going to make it this year. I think Pop's gonna have something to prove. I think it's probably gonna be his last season before he turns it over, and I think he want to get his team in the playoffs. He's gonna make he's gonna make a slight push. I think those guys, all those guys coming back healthy. He loves Derek Wright. He loves Derek White. He loves Lonnie Walker. He loves DeJounte Murray, all those guys. I think they're going to possibly make the playoffs this season. But last season, I was really disappointed in them. But I really couldn't have been because, man, when you win for 20 straight years and you lose all your stars and now you just transitioning, you got to give teams some slack. And I think that was San Antonio last year. It was just them catching their breath last year. But I think this season, they'll be back in the playoff one. They'll slowly start the rebuild.
Yeah, I feel like this is the end of Pop his coaching career. We saw it. We see he's starting to groom. I forgot the lady's name, but we see and he brought in Tim Duncan, to kind of transition into that head coaching role. But if we just look at this team, they brought in Lamarcus Aldridge to basically replace Tim Duncan, and that didn't work out for them. He's not been. I mean, he's a solid player, but obviously he's not Tim Duncan, the best
He's
power.
old. He's old.
Yeah, he's old,
They
but I
got
mean,
Aldridge. He was already 32 when he came to. He was already 32 when he came.
32 is pretty good. I mean, that's kind of young, but now
Not
he's
for
just
big. Not for big.
well, yeah. Now he's just like he looks like he can't run. I've watching him play is scary to me. And then DeMar DeRozan, we know what he is. He he was Toronto was perfect for him, and Pop likes him because he shoots a lot of the mid range stuff, and he's just not that guy to really carry a team. He's not going to be the best player on he could be the best player on a playoff team, but he's not going to take like this below average team over the hump. And then, like you said, a lot of guys been injured. Um, I feel like they're going to go into a rebuild. I think Pop maybe coaches 2 more seasons at most, like absolutely the most, and then he retires. He's had a good career. 20 straight years of making the playoffs. That's unbelievable. And they got 5 rings out of it too. Like that's you can't ask for much better than that. But I feel like the sleep on his team is Lonnie Walker. Like he was in Pop's doghouse for a while, and when he let him off the leash, we especially saw it against that Houston game when they came back. I can't remember how much they came back down. I think it was like 20 points or something like that. And that's when Houston, like, they filed that. That's when James Harden dunked the ball and like it went back through and it came out or something like that, and they didn't count as a basket. And that's when we saw the emergence of Lonnie Walker. And I feel like that kid is gonna be an absolute beast. DeJounte Murray, he was all defense his first season. I feel like he's gonna bounce back. He had some injury setbacks, and they got some nice young pieces on this team. So I feel like it's time to, kind of get the old guys out there like Rudy Gay. I mean, you might want to keep them around for veteran presence. I feel like they got to get rid of LaMarcus Aldridge. He's just not what he used to be. He doesn't do much for the team. And he's just slow on the floor. He's slow in transition. We gotta pass him the ball on the block. He gotta do his move. He stops offense too much, and he's just not good for like to play with these young guys. These young guys, they need to get up the floor, and they need kind of like that New Orleans offense type of thing. Mike D'Antoni style. So I feel like that's what they kind of need. They kind of need to start building pieces around him that could do that.
Well, they have some nice young guys, but they definitely have way too many old guys. Aldridge is 35. Then you got DeMar DeRozan, he's already 32. Rudy Gay is 35. You got Patty Mills, he's 34. I mean, like this is they got a lot. They need to get rid of those old guys. And the fact of the matter is, although this is all those guys last season, the only guys that will be on this roster after this season is you got Keldon Johnson, who was a rookie last year, Lonnie Walker, who's coming in this third season, and then you got DeJounte Murray, and then you got Jakob Poeltl. And that is about it. Everybody else will be gone. So they'll have about 4 really great young guys, and then I guess they'll fill out the pieces, the slots with some, I don't know, some free agents, some veterans. I don't think they make any trades. San Antonio's not known for really making trades. They just bring in veterans, and they just compete. So I think this is Pop's last season. I honestly do, because if you look at it, all those guys who's going to be free agents, he's not going to want to bring in some more free agents to fill out the team. So he'll have to coach them another season. No, I really think this is Pop's last season. And then he's looking at this team. He'd probably try to get them to the second round at best. I don't think they're a second round team. Some even question them making the playoffs, but I have too much respect for Pop for them not to be able to make the playoffs. I think they can probably get the 7 or 8 seed. Second round, I don't think they can make it to the second round, but I don't know. We'll see. It's San Antonio. You can't count them out. But like I say, they tried. They tried the LaMarcus Aldridge experiment. It really didn't work. It never was a fit to begin with. LaMarcus Aldridge, he shouldn't have left Portland to begin with. It was the ideal spot for him. San Antonio just wasn't working out. And you saw from the beginning, he really wanted out after that first season, because he was saying, he's just not feeling his game in that offense. Pop had to sit him down and tell him, like, listen, we need you. You're not going anywhere, blah, blah, blah. And he just never looked right in San Antonio. Yeah, he just never looked right. And DeMar DeRozan, I don't know what he is right now. I really don't. He was an all-star in the East. He was the best player on the top seed in the East, and came to the West. He just, I guess, I think this offense is just difficult, especially for veteran players. I think the system is just difficult. Like for this offensive system, you need to have to kind of groom guys into it. And that's why Pop loves the young guys. That's why he likes the DeJounte Murrays. That's why he likes the Lonnie Walker, because you can groom them into the system. When you got guys who already established themselves in the league, and then having to adjust into this offense, when they have to really change up their game to be in this offense, I think they kind of struggle, and we see that quite a bit with veterans that come to San Antonio. But you always had Tim Duncan, you always had the manager on Dobley, the Tony Parker, you always had them, to just ease out and settle it down. But you don't have those guys anymore, and now you really have to build a new culture in San Antonio, because Pop is going to be gone. That old culture which you have with Tim and Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, all those guys, that is finished with. You need to find a new culture for this team. You need a new identity. That era is over. We just you gotta understand you gotta find a new identity for the team moving forward. That's the reality of that situation.
Well, I don't think that's gonna the identity of the culture of the team is gonna change because Pop has really groomed those like assistant coaches. One of them is gonna be elevated. They're not gonna bring somebody in. One of them is gonna be elevated to head coach, and I feel like they're gonna try and continue on. What Pop teach them. Because they've been sitting alongside him for years now, and that is embedded in all of them. So I feel like that doesn't change. I just feel like they need some roster changes. DeMar DeRozan is what he is. He's only gonna shoot the mid range game, and I just like I said, I feel like they just need to. LaMarcus Aldridge has to go. You don't want to get rid of all the veterans now because then when you have a bunch of young players, that's when you start to lose. You need some veterans to teach these guys how to close up games, how to win games. So I feel like that's where like Patty Mills and DeRozan and those guys come in. So I feel like that's like they kind of like in that rebuild situation. That's just the reality of the situation.
Yeah, why I said they need to change the system. San Antonio's offense was really an anomaly throughout the entire NBA. But because they had Tim Duncan, probably the best power forward to ever play the game, because they had Tony Parker, those guys were just great, perfect for that offense. But now we see the game kind of run away from San Antonio's offense. They really got the slowest offense. It was slow. They spent a lot of time. They try to find an open guy, a lot of passes, or they just dunk it down to Duncan. He go to work. The game has kind of moved on from that. You rarely saw San Antonio shooting threes, and now you look at them and now you look at the NBA now, and everybody's shooting threes. You don't have players shooting. If you don't have at least one player shooting 250 threes in the season, then something's wrong with your team. You need at least one player shooting 250 threes a season. Like that's like so. They how they do something. That old system they had is just not working in this new NBA. And because you don't have those guys, you don't have those elite players in Tony and Tim Duncan, you need to find something that works with these young guys. That's the only way they're going to be able to compete with this new era and this new generation with NBA players. But like I said, I think San Antonio, I think they'll make the playoffs. Maybe it's 8 seed. They're not going to be top 6. Maybe 8 or 7 seed. I have too much respect for Pop to not have them in the playoffs. But first round they're going to be gone, and then Pop is going to be. He's going to retire, and then like I said, that'll be it. They'll have to. They need to start adjusting into the new era in San Antonio.